So what can you tell about your character? Like, who is he? What does he do? Where does he end up?
He's the Lone Ranger. He's basically a masked vigilante for justice who starts out as an attorney, and as soon as he realizes that the legal system has failed him and no one else is interested in sort of the due process that he's interested in, he kind of has to take matters into his own hands, and he has his guide Tonto sort of show him the ways of this frontier world.
And we're in New Mexico today, but I heard that you guys shot in like 5 different states.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
How was that? And how did you guys manage to like go from one place to the other? It's like such a hassle, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a hassle. More than anything else, it was a hassle for all the Teamsters and stuff like that, because there'd be days where we would company move in the morning, show up at a location, shoot, and then move out that night to the next location. And we're talking about a 400 or 500 person crew.
Right.
So, I mean, it was just an enormous undertaking, and we just kind of pinballed all over the Southwest.
Yeah, and what is your favorite place to shoot out of those 5 states?
I think we probably all had the most fun in Moab. Moab was a lot of fun, just because it's like on the weekends there was non-stop adventures. You could go for hikes, you could go dirt bike riding, you could ride like these things called razors, which are basically dune buggies that you can take up the side of a mountain. It's just a lot of fun.
And you guys did like a cowboy boot camp? How was that?
It was great. They took all the actors when we showed up, basically loaded us into a van and drove us out to a horse ranch. Kicked us out and said, we'll come and get you as soon as they kick the city out of you.
How exciting was it to ride horses? Did you ride horses before, or was it the first time?
I did, yeah. I'd kind of grown up riding a little bit. Obviously, I'd never ridden on top of a building or through a moving train. But,
was that real?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
How was that? Weren't you scared at all?
Yeah, I mean, not so much scared. There's so many things that you kind of have to think about. You have to think, all right, I have to fire with this hand, then I have to holster that gun, then grab the reins and switch to this hand and fire. Then I have to duck when I go through the door so I don't smash my face. Then I have to shoot again, and then I have to put my gun away and ride out.
Right.
So it's like you have too much to think about to be scared. If you get scared, you're just going to mess something up.
Once you put on the mask, does that help you to get into character, or what does that do to you?
Yeah, a little. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Like, it definitely helps. You know, it's the kind of thing where, you know, by the end of the movie, especially, we'd all had so much fun, and you know everybody so well. It's so casual. You kind of just, you forget what you're doing, and you forget where you are, and then all of a sudden you see a reflection of yourself, and you're in the mask. And you're like, oh right, I'm the Lone Ranger. Great, okay. You know.
Yeah, and it took a while to get that mask right?
Yeah. A lot of different masks.
Yeah, like costume fittings, and like it didn't fit at first. That's what I
No,
heard.
at first it looked like it was just made of like a football or something. I mean, it was just terrible, and it just kind of progressed to what it was.
Does it get sweaty?
Yeah, it's so, well, it's plastic underneath. It's like vacuum formed plastic that fits my face. So it's just like putting a plastic sleeve against your face, and it was 125 degrees, like 50, 60 degrees Celsius, and just, I mean, we would have to sometimes stop because too much sweat would be pouring from under the mask. No sweat nowhere else, but just from under the mask.
I bet you get a pretty nice tan, like.
Yeah, I just look like a burglar or something.
Well, you are almost in every scene, and it must have been really grueling, you know, because you guys were shooting for 7 months. How was that? How do you look back at that?
It's some of the best memories I have. Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
and speaking about, you know, one of the best memories ever, like, if you get to tell your kids or your grandkids later on, like, what's the one thing, the one story that you really want to tell them? Like, a story that you would, like, keep telling over and over again when you're old about shooting this movie?
It would probably be just the camping stories. There were so many great times where we would shoot all day in some of the most amazing locations, and then at night, we would just kind of circle around all the trailers and just camp in the middle with a big bonfire, and there'd be karaoke going, and people would have the guitars out. Just some of the best times.
And all the actors were there too?
Yeah.
Johnny was there too?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you guys really camped out in the trailers, and you just stay there. It's like nothing in a hotel.
Yeah, well, it's like 4 hours in the nearest hotel. It's like 8 hours a day in a car.
And how was it working with Johnny Depp?
It was fantastic.
Yeah. What can you say about him?
Yeah, I mean, volumes. He's a great dude. He's very interesting. There's a lot more to him than you'd think.
Yeah, and I heard that you guys are friends. Like, you became friends throughout shooting. Do you guys still keep in touch, or?
Yeah. We still keep in touch.
And what's next for you?
Next, we're going to go to work with Guy Ritchie for a project called Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, nice talking to you.
It was nice meeting you.
Have a good day.
You too.